Hello!
Woo!
Good evening! And welcome back to another Werewolf Wednesday for yet another session of our Werewolf Chronicle. Now, finally done with the prologue, Shadows over Kempten moves on to its true shadowy side. Welcome to Session 7, Homecoming. Last session we were close to finishing the Rite of Passage, but I wanted everyone here for that, so we stopped right after you laughed the spiritual maze. Very interesting solutions to the riddles along the way, very interesting challenges. An interaction with a very weird spirit that has a lot of potential for the future in one way or another. We remain to see. And we start off after Stag presented itself to all of you and acknowledged Jakob as its child. Now all there is before you is a long stretch of wide, snowy trail to the very top of the mountain, where the end of your Rite of Passage awaits. Let's get this rolling.
I gotta say, very specifically for the people who have not been here for the last sessions, when Lee says we had interesting solutions for riddles, it means we pissed on a rock. And that's important to mention.
Yes, and to be fair, like
solution.
If I had a nickel
one
every
element
time
we can all create. Why did you choose that one?
that was meant for a create element.
Yeah.
We created elements.
You can, absolutely. I forgot the one element everyone can create, as you pointed out last session. So honestly, yeah, that is on me. Absolutely.
I kept thinking about that. Like the last Airbender, that whole scenario would be worse if someone came to that conclusion. I don't have water with me. Oh no,
Yeah.
I need to bend something though.
Yeah, people are terrified of blood bending. You got a point there. But then again, Katara did bend her own sweat, so like.
Yeah, but if she just pulled down a pan, I'm sorry. But...
It's a kids show. It's a kids show. She would not.
Anyway, werewolf game.
Werewolf game.
You are on the hike. I just want to say, for people who say they've missed sessions, a reminder that you can find us on YouTube under Tales of the Lion's Den. There are links. You can check all my socials in Twitch description for those following us live. You can check the VODs on YouTube. They're all there. My link tree is right below and you can find everything there, including the YouTube channel. And for those already watching on YouTube, you can also find the link to Twitch on the description and watch us live next time. That out of the way, thank you, Viri. You are amazing.
Mwah. Kisses.
Kisses. Moving on. Trail to the top of the mountain. Destiny lies before you. If you have anything you want to talk about beforehand, just describe your little walk to the peak. It's up to you.
I'd probably say at some point closer to the peak, Rota is going to get more curious about her pack mates. And is going to start asking questions. Probably turning to each one, except Klaus. She knows Klaus pretty well.
Yeah.
And is going to be asking them to basically say, hey, so what's your story? How did you change?
You gotta point out who you ask first, because I think we're all
Yeah, I was-
scared of that question.
I was gonna
That's
say
true.
is like, who do you think
Okay.
she gravitates towards first?
So Rota's gonna be pretty much near the front of the pack. So who would be nearest to the front aside from Rota?
Probably Thorsten.
Okay, so I'd probably start with Torsten.
Oh god. I forgot the implications that has. Oh no.
Dude,
What are the
It's fine.
circumstances of your first change?
You know, I was at a party and things got kind of weird. How they sometimes do at parties. And this was weirder. And I don't know. I got so weirdly annoyed at everything. So fucking angry. Everything was so loud and so bright and smelled weird, and I didn't get it. Because you smell so differently as a wolf. You're so fucking weird.
Rota
I just
nods
got-
and says, I get overstimulated too.
I used to before. It wasn't this intense, you know. Apparently, people tried to help me, and things changed, and I, try to get people away from me, which apparently wasn't too good for the people that tried to help me.
You don't remember your first change?
I don't remember a lot of it.
Hmm.
I remember
I guess that's not unusual.
I got overwhelmed. I hurt some people, and I got picked up by some very nice people. Basically, ended up here. Was all quite quick, to be honest. Hasn't been that long.
She nods, and
What?
let's see, who would be...
No,
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I gotta just ask the question back if that's okay, because you're like Kreiner spawn, right? So you started off as a werewolf.
She nods, and she says, yes, I was born as a werewolf.
So you
Um,
didn't have to change to figure out that you were special, right?
there isn't a time in my life that I was not aware of Gaia's war. In many ways, it's all that I've known. I was fortunate enough to grow up outside of a sept, so this is one of the first times that I'm coming to a sept. I think that my change is going to be described a little bit differently from the rest of you. My change was very peaceful. Growing up as a creature of rage, I etched rage in the surface of everything that I touched with a single swipe of claws, even if I meant to simply grasp it. And growing up was a matter of learning how to be gentle. It was necessity that brought on my first change. I remember I had to go into a crawl space under the house, down in the root cellar. And I remember trying to get in there under my own abilities and finding that I couldn't. And so I started reaching for things in my mind, towards things that allowed me to be smaller. And with very little affair, I changed into my human form. I crawled in, crawled out, and my parents were very happy. I was confused at first because it was about as It was about as straightforward as stretching when standing up, but if you did not know that you had those muscles to stretch before, then you don't grasp for them. And I guess that's kind of a big difference between the Krenos-born and other Garou, is that you have to learn personal discipline and personal control, and you need a reason to change. And so it's less a matter of unleashing one's rage so much as learning to contain it. Does that make sense?
It does. I kind of get that. I don't think as much, but when you grow up kind of big and strong, you accidentally hurt people. But it is a very big difference between accidentally hurting someone and writing rage
Yes.
on the face of someone you like. So I can't imagine growing up with that.
As an infant, I grasped my mother to simply hold her, and it injured her so badly she needed to rest for 3 weeks. That is what it means to be a werewolf child.
Does everyone find a reason? Or is there werewolves that never change?
There are some that never change. I do not know much about them, but I believe that there are rumors of it. Either those that never find their rage, or those who find it but do not find other Garou. Those are lost cubs. Those are what happens when the Garou don't come and bring you to a sept.
Can I ask another question? I know I keep doing that.
Yes.
Why do you say it's fortunate that you didn't grow up in a sept? They seem like really nice places.
They are really nice places for those who are not born as Garou. There's a lot of systemic forms of suppression and repression to contain those that are born of two Garou parents. And there are numerous reasons for this. One is that, and the most prominent, is that a Krenos-born child coming into the world most likely results in the death of the mother. The child generally claws its way out when the time comes. And if the Garou does not transform immediately into their Krenos form, they are often eviscerated from the inside. Now, even if the mother does survive this, it takes them out of the Apocalypse War for a long time while they heal. And then there's time spent raising the Krenos-born child. Often it's left to other Garou. She holds up her claws and says, learning to use these means that it is very complicated to interact with others that do not themselves regenerate. Now, let's say that you are a Garou pack at a sept, and one of your pack mates was eviscerated from the inside out by a Krenos-born child. Your best friend and somebody that is effectively your family is now gone. And what's left is a crying, screaming child that harms everything it touches. A child that, generally speaking, by and large, cannot be seen in public without betraying the nature of werewolves to others. Because of this, many Garou hold resentment in their hearts towards Krinos born like me. It is fortunate that I grew up outside of a sept, because it is quite likely I would not have survived due to the treatment of other Garou of my kind.
I thank you for explaining. I don't know if that is a compliment to you, but you are one of the most patient people that I know, and I'm sorry you had to learn that, but I'm very glad that you did.
Let me see. What's a good autistic response to that?
Oh, you were all
She
autistic.
looks-
Size going nonverbal?
She looks confused for a moment, and she doesn't really respond to the compliment, but looks away for a moment, and then looks over at Jakob and says, "What about you? What is your story?"
Perfect.
The fact that I do that in real life.
Jakob kind of like he shakes his shoulders and is like, well, the first change just happened during a car crash. I was just driving along in the middle of the forest. Some guy crashed into my truck. I don't know if he was drunk or not. Figured he must have been from the way he was driving, if I try to remember the bits I can remember. Most of what I remember is everything going red, lots of woods going around me, lots of splinters, lots of movement. And by the time I came to, I just saw these big fuckers holding me down. And I looked left and right and I was like, what the fuck is all this shit? You know? But by that moment I was buck naked, which was surprisingly not the most shocking thing about it. But I felt different, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess that's when the Sepp picked me up and told me what happened. I guess I'm lucky that not many people got hurt in the middle of it. I heard that's a pretty rare occurrence for other full moons.
It is. Many wind up killing their own families, their loved ones, their friends, whoever happens to be with them at the time when they go through their first change. Sometimes it is very fortunate the way that Luna makes one forget their first time.
Well, I guess it wasn't that much fortune for me. I already learned how to keep my distance from folks. I used to think that they just didn't like me for whatever reason. Maybe I just looked like an asshole to them, or I just have that resting angry face that I wasn't aware of. And Jakob just kind of shrugs. Now that I know that that's part of this whole rage thing, well, I guess it makes more sense. Not that it makes it any better, but I get it now, for better or worse. But it all turned out well enough, didn't it?
Rota says, "I'm glad you're here."
Jakob, who quick question, SD. Is it still like ungodly cold right now? Or like
Yeah.
spiritually cold would be a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, Jakob is going to give Rotha a gentle, like, elbow nudge. As gentle as he can, all things considered. While saying, thanks.
Rota is not going to pick up that social cue and is just going to elbow back hard while smiling.
For what it's worth, Jakob is going to interpret that as Rotha picking up on the social cue.
Hell yeah.
And if everyone is autistic, no one is.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, like we've said plenty of times, isn't that just Werewolf in its entirety?
Yep.
Rota looks at Alexander and says, "Now, what about you, the happiest bear? What is this fun story?"
I imagine that Alexander was relatively oblivious to the conversations that were being had and just like romping about in the snow, like a dog that's seen snow for the first time, even though he grew up in it.
To be fair, you spend most of your time in a cage, so.
I was getting to that. He has to like kind of think for a minute on that. It was I didn't grow up with anyone that I was born with. My mother was cut down before me when I was very small, and I was taken as pet for the man that slayed her. I was kept in a small wooden structure for a long time until I was bigger, about this size now. And the hunter sort of, I guess, realized that I was too big to be controlled anymore. But before he cut me down, I heard a voice in the back of my mind. Something old and smarter than I am, telling me that now was the time to stand up and fight for myself. And I listened, and I think similar to Jakob, but I don't remember much of what happened besides blizzarding snow and splintering trees, bones, the sky opening up above me, and for the first time feeling free. And then I was trapped in Hamid form for a number of hours, trying to find my way to warmth and comfort. And 2 scouts from the Sept found me, and we weathered a blizzard back to the Sept, and that's where I met, or that's where I was for a good while before meeting the grandmother, and, well, the rest has been with all of you, and it's been the greatest months of my life.
What became of the hunters?
What's the word? Mulch?
She laughs. She says, dead. That's the word.
He kind of laughs and smiles back. Food for the mushrooms.
Good use of life.
I think so. Better than the life that they were using.
She looks to Klaus and says, I have known Klaus for almost my entire life. But he can speak to that.
Yes, I first met this one when she was a little child running around alone. I was a curious pup running off by myself, always wanting to explore. It's different being Garou in a wolf pack. You see things differently, you think of things differently. Your parents give you attention differently. It is hard because, well, your other pack mates, your siblings, they treat you differently. So I was always going off by myself. I now know that was dangerous, but I also knew somehow that I would be fine. It wasn't for another spring or so until I experienced my first change, but I met Rota when she was a child. It was a strange child. I had seen humans before. Hikers. Dead ones. And, well, being a pup myself, I wanted to get close, to play, to see what she was. And that's how we met. It's lonely being a wolf-born Garou. You know, people say that your human mind is a gift. It helps you understand things, to help you work out situations. But for me, it's just what has kept me apart. Normal wolves don't worry about the future, but I do. I worry all the time about what will happen to my pups. They don't. There was a time when I didn't. And often I wish I could go back. But I can't. And now I just need to keep going forward.
Rota, she says, Klaus changed before I did.
Yes, you grow so slowly.
Smiles and says, "You grow so fast."
I was grown and having pups before you even changed. It is odd.
He nods. "You were very surprised when I showed up one day as a wolf."
Klaus sort of goes to Roto's side and sort of rushes up against her, and
Sure.
tail wagging.
She'll lean back against him.
Yeah.
I mean, wanna
Rota
ask-
takes a look around her packmates and says, "I'm glad to have met all of you. I'm glad that we are on this rite of passage together. And I think that we are nearing the end. And I hope that we stay at pack after."
And as if on
Was this
cue,
Well, was there something that Viri was gonna say?
oh, I can still do that later. No worries.
Okay.
I mean, to you.
I'm just.
Oh,
I'll just add in. Oh,
Please talk. I just wanted to say I'm absolutely glad to keep a little roleplay idea for later. No worries.
Okay, cool.
yeah, like Yak was just gonna say, it was a real fucking trip. I'll give you that.
And thus, as if on cue, the peak, or well, something close to it, of this mountain comes into view. Almost as a sort of clearing in the middle of the rocky landscape. There's still plenty of trees surrounding you. The fog and the blizzard, the snowing all start to clear out a bit. Through it you can see those vague, glowy shapes wavering, surrounding this peak you reach. Out to vaguely animal without a definite force, as if slightly peeking through the gauntlet to look at you as you've come to an end. Possibly many of the spirits that helped along the way or just otherwise watched, judged. And as you close in on this small place, there's this massive dead old tree trunk. And perching on one of the branches, the only one left standing, is this massive creature, much bigger than the usual kind that you would see in the forest. A massive black bird, a raven. Its eyes, a deep stare that seem to reflect the world beyond. Almost too smart, but then again, those ravens, and yet there's that extra spark. It ruffles its feathers as you calm before it. Well done! Well done! You made it! Took you long enough.
Alexander is just kind of beaming up at this creature because he really likes birds.
I know. Impressive, impressive. I take good care of these feathers. Had to fight a weasel to be standing over here, and then there was a chameleon that was too slow to arrive. I would have had some boxing. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, hello. Did you enjoy your time? Was it fun? You seem to have learned a lot.
Yeah. To most of that.
I'll be saying bark
I think
singing,
yeah to all of that.
a dog going absolutely ape shit in my neighborhood. I don't think the score picks it up because of the noise filter, but the stream does.
Oh no.
I mean, I have to keep an eye whenever there's a noise outside so I can mute the stream specifically, so my microphone doesn't make noise. Very fun, and here it is, the cat again shoving her ass in the microphone, precisely after I said not about not making noise. Great!
So Nate's
Oh,
nice
yes.
to
As
meet
if
you.
on cue.
A message
helping.
from our other patron.
Yeah.
Great.
We have been attacked by the worm.
Amazing. Now please, sleep and behave.
At least do one of those.
That's...
The cat shall not be contained.
She can only do one if she does the other. Anyhow, the bird stares at you, like, as if expecting something. Or at least more of a reaction. Maybe a fanfare. Or maybe he assumes you know what's happening.
I guess Jakob's gonna look up to it, like one very large hand on his hip, and he's gonna say, "Hey, little buddy, yeah, we had a fun time. Don't figure you wanna join us for the rest of the journey?"
Well, I guess that's partially your decision as well. I am here to congratulate you. Well, I'll be honest, there were quite a few eyeing you up, but only the best get the best. And I'm the smartest too. Clever. I got here first and scared everyone else off. Heh. Yes, I am pleased. Very pleased. And I believe you would make wonderful children to take under my wing. This is the climax, the end point. Your rite is concluded, and I offer my patronship.
Rota kneels before this large raven. Eyes to the ground. And she kind of mutters to her pack mates and says, "Kneel."
There's like a fuck yeah that escapes Torsten's mouth before that happens. He's like, oh, yeah. And also kneels down.
It ruffles its feathers again, it clicks its beak. Nah, none of that fanfare. Please, we're family here. We don't need to get that formal. You've already proved in yourselves enough.
Alexander is just vibrating. He's so excited.
Torsten's also like, fucking bird, fuck yeah, raven's so cool.
Honestly, yeah, if I was... I'll comment about this later, but yeah. Let me...
Jakob's gonna look down to Rotha, because he's not like kneeling, and I mean, he's big enough that he doesn't necessarily have to do much to look down. I mean, I'm happy to listen to you, but... And he looks up to the bird. I'm very happy to accept your patronage. So, I still have to ask, what do you wish to actually offer us?
An incredibly fair question. Now I'm smart, but I'm the smartest. The cleverest bird. Your kind of mind
Yakov's
have quite the history. Helping each other feed, help hunt down the prey. Not even make you smarter. But teach you some cheeky lessons. I like my packs smart. Of course, there are a few formalities. Not that, just... Well, I am a patron of wisdom. I guide you in your search for knowledge, for the secrets of this world. And I am a totem. I'm reading the few parts of the description, so I keep switching back to that word. I am a patron of wealth as well, and that's the small caveat. If you want to follow me, you must trust me to provide for you. You don't need to carry wealth and submit to the whole, the greed things humans do. What did you call it again?
Money?
And money?
The bigger portion of it, but yes, as well, wealth.
Like economy. Wealth. Ah.
It's very difficult to read the expressions of a bird, but it's also a spirit, and you say economy, it almost feels like it frowned. It's not a visible cue, but you almost feel like that was what the way you moved its head meant.
The vibes are off.
Yeah, it didn't like that word. I provide for my children. I help you survive. I help you get your way through situations. And I make you wiser. I encourage you to be ever wiser. The line between wisdom and cunning is very thin. You're adaptable. You're sensible. And I like it. If you will follow my lead, I will love to take you to all the interesting little corners of this world, and hopefully together we can figure out some mysteries. Secrets. Of course, I'm sure there's others that could fit your taste better if that sounds just... If you don't want to let go of the precious little shinies, I know how precious they are.
I have to go of them right now. I have like 5 day mark in my pockets.
Oh no, don't litter, that's...
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I don't have pockets.
I don't know what a money is.
Neither do I! I do know how to hide stuff anyway. Maybe one day I'll teach you the trick. It's not that difficult. So... will you follow me?
Rota looks at her packmates and she says, Raven is a very old patron, a wise old patron, one that is cunning.
Yeah, he told us like 3 times so far.
Says,
I-
a patron is the spiritual binding of our pack. It represents what we exemplify in our ideals and what we are aiming to do with our lives in the war or the apocalypse. I am in love with the idea of Raven being our patron. But what do the rest of you think?
Jakob's gonna look towards Rotha and ask, how much should we believe what Raven's saying.
Rota says, Raven is a spirit that is of Gaia. If we cannot trust the things that are of Gaia, then what can we trust? We are part spirit, and this spirit has been with the Garou since the beginning. Well, at least some incarnations of Raven have been. There have been multiple Ravens over the centuries. There are many things in the world that we cannot trust, but of the wild spaces, we can trust them. And in particular, Raven especially.
I want to believe you, but if what you say is true, and if what you say is true, Jakob says, looking towards the Raven, I don't think you're the kind of... Jakob wanted to say guy, corrects himself, bird that would want its followers to blindly trust whatever they're told, right?
Not blindly, no. I do hope you are capable of trust between yourselves and in me, if you do choose to follow me. But you are correct that caution is the clever way. But there's so much as getting too clever.
Klaus hasn't bowed or anything. Steps forward and says, Raven, my one goal is to protect the wild places, to scare away, ideally, those humans who would encroach upon them. Forgive me if this offends you, but somehow a bird does not seem like that it would be too suited to showing rage and violence, instilling fear.
Is that
What
how
can you offer me?
Wolf? Is that same violence that won you the maze? The labyrinth?
No.
And yet...
Well, I ask you this. What can you provide for me?
What do you need?
If I am to trust you to provide for me, how would you provide for my goal? For my goals?
That depends on your goals. That depends what you need providing. For a wolfborn, one would expect you know well. We have always kept you fed. How many times have you found your prey, successfully stalked it, eviscerated it, from our cowing? How many
Fair.
times have we alerted you to danger? Of course, wolves don't have the worries the Garou have, but I also don't think you fully understand what worries you will have. And when they come, I might be able to help.
Well, I have no use for money anyway, so your restrictions do not bother me. I'll take your words for now.
I do think a little wisdom can help in protecting as much as strength can. And more than half of us don't really know what money is anyway. I think this fits pretty well. I'm pretty jazzed about this.
Mm-hmm.
You seem very nice.
Amazing! Glad we got over all of that. It is done! It is done! The fog begins to clear completely now. Snowing ceases. The wavering figures in the distance fade with it. Skies clear. And the bird nods its head towards you. You feel a tingle, like a tugging in all your hearts, as if something changes. Something subtle, a warmth. Something entirely internal, and for a moment it's almost like you've been as united as you ever were. The bird takes a good look through each and every single one of you. Ah, yes. A gift from those who've watched along the way. When you look at the trunk, you see many glyphs inscribed. Each of you end up focusing on different pairs, and as you stare into those glyphs, images and feelings flood your mind. And you also feel your gnosis rattle and take that knowledge with you. From your patrons, your tribal patrons, and Luna as well. I'm sure those tools will be useful for you. Those gifts. The effects of the riot should have died down by now. Shall we track back down? Don't worry, it will be a lot faster now. Which one of you was the eyes? Each of you one by one. Eyes set on Alexander. Ah, yes. Crescent Moon. To say he flies is like he just does a little jump. Wingy jump to perch on your shoulder. I don't suppose you have formalized any leadership structures or that, I think you call it a DAC or something. And I don't even know if you would care to do that, so I don't want to impose that sort of thing on my children. You figure yourselves out. For now, I'll correspond with the Bone Whisperer. And when you need me, I'll be around. And thus, you all ready yourselves to descend back. This time for a surprisingly straightforward and very normal path with no supernaturals, no. Almost as if it's an entirely different path. One that actually exists now. Who knows? And with that, I think this is a good moment for our break.
Gladly.
Because once you're back, it's Sept time.
Hey!
And we get to stat out the patron.
Yep.
Yeah!
I don't know what that means, but I will.
So, let me set this up. We
So,
will be back in 10.
Whoa.
Hell yeah,
Alexander's
back
so
time.
excited. He's never had a parent before.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Well,
I
that
have
got
a
sad.
question.
Yeah.
So-
We can be your parents. You have 4 weird autistic
Well,
parents.
first of all, break time. So be our back to those watching. I'll see you in a minute. Here we are again. Hello. Also, Morag, I
Yo.
don't know what you roll privately, but That's just a remind. Like, apparently you rolled something and it was a private roll.
Oh, yes. No, I was just.
All I was going to say is, don't forget to change that private to show.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Because it happened once, like accidentally. Because it's very easy
Yeah,
to
that's
like
right. Yeah. Yeah.
to change that without.
Thank you for reminding me.
Let's see. So, to summarize things, you descend from the mountain. By the foot of it, the same group of elders were awaiting you. And you were officially recognized as Kliath, adult Garou ready to take on real responsibilities within the nation. I will note down events because that book is a pain in the ass. But you can all note down the starting renown of your auspice, the permanent renown that your auspice is meant to begin with. Also add the tribe and auspice gifts if you have already chosen them. Car beefy in the street. Always great. You know, there's two things I hate about the Changing Breeds book. The fact that like some of the crucial character creation information is at the very end of things, and how off the PDF pages are in relation to the book pages. Navigating this is great.
Help remind me on the renown rank table 2 glory 1 honor for Galliard.
Galliard, it's glory to 1 wisdom.
Okay.
Yeah, to Ragabash in Veer's case, it's any combination. Ragabash doesn't have rules, so I can either give you help deciding where to put those 3 dots of renown, or if you have an idea.
No. I have literally. I'm a bit lost right now. I'll be honest.
Basically,
I
basically, renown is
Mhm.
the markers of your standing before the Garou Nation. It's your social standing among the werewolves. It's divided in glory, honor, and wisdom. In Alexander's case, since you're a Gurul, instead of glory, you have succor, because werebears work by different rules. But you're still part of the sept and this pack, so all the same,
I still get
you were
that.
thus far cubs, which meant you didn't have a rank. You were rank 0, which also meant you had no renown to speak of. Each auspice has specific traits that are more valued than others, and are seen as the true markers to decide when a Garou is it's ready to advance to the next rank. And
There
their
we go. I
duties
found
as
the renown table.
Thank you, because I'm multitasking and I couldn't.
It's fine.
And basically, you have starting renown, because usually you start this game as rank 1 instead of rank 0, and you have that starting renown precisely to represent that you've been through the Rite of Passage and you've performed the duties of your auspice to be considered a full-grown Garou.
Okay.
Page 251 in the core book if you wish to look it up.
Over the
I'm gonna-
course of the campaign, and you have already accumulated some, you will gain temporary renown. So, like, for the actions you perform, if you help someone, if you kill a monster, if you needlessly kill an innocent, or other sorts of heroic deeds and mistakes, you accumulate temporary dots of each renown. Once you have 10, you gain a permanent point that has to be acknowledged in a moot. So basically, when the werewolves get together for like a quote-unquote festival, and they tell each other stories, they tell their own stories to be recognized before their society. So you will grow your renown, and once you get enough, you can advance rank and become even like have a higher station in Werewolf Society.
Okay.
In the
I
case of
posted
Regabash,
the renown rank table
yes.
in the game chat.
In the Regabash case, there isn't strict rules because the Regabash is the adaptable one that has to offer the alternate way and all of that to question things. So, how you approach, technically, there are multiple ways of being a Regabash. It's true for all of those, but for Regabash, even more so. Any amount of renown, any combination of the three renowns works.
Okay.
Basically, going with a renown track that most closely represents the ideals of your character.
Honestly, I was going to suggest something very familiar if you still didn't know what to do.
What would your suggestion be? Just
The same, pretty much. It would be a very similar suggestion.
okay to what I have now.
Yeah, to what you just put.
Perfect.
Rota would have also taken the time to absolutely drill into her pack mates the codes and creeds of renown, the guiding principles that help one decide effectively what is right and wrong to Garou in the eyes of spirits. This is page 142 in the core book. I'm about to copy pasta some things over.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I will, well, then let me find this first.
I don't know where the Creed of Succor is. It's probably in the Garou book, but it might not.
I'm not even sure if it, I don't know if it gives the creeds, but there
But
probably
here
is.
are the codes and creeds of renown. The Glory Creed is I shall be valorous, I shall be dependable, I shall be generous, I shall protect the weak, I shall slay the worm.
Oh no,
The
it does
Code of
give for
Honor.
Succor.
The
Well,
Code of
it
Honor
gives
is
simple
I
behaviors.
shall be respectful, I shall be loyal, I shall be just, I shall live by my word, I shall accept all fair challenges. And the Creed of Wisdom is I shall be calm, I shall be prudent, I shall be merciful, I shall think before I act and listen before I think.
So funny thing, Girl also don't have a specific spread. You just start with 4 renown total.
Hmm. And do they have a specific like track for
Yeah.
what they're supposed to get, or?
No, like you can. It's just 4 points. It's the same as Ragabash, is what I'm saying. Like
Ah,
you just have a 1 extra point, but like it doesn't have a specific spread. So
Yeah,
long it's
gotcha.
4.
Okay.
Grawl
That didn't
are
work as well as I
expected to
hoped.
live to a much higher standard than other shapeshifters, so
And also you
more
cycle
renowned than
through.
others.
Oh, right.
And also you cycle through all the auspices technically, so they have to be well-rounded one way or another.
Mhm.
All right, gifts. I think I still have to pick my Galliard gift.
Yeah. Sorry if that is a thing that was obvious to the others. Were there more gifts to choose?
Yeah, I've mentioned it last session. It's if you go in the pinned of the game chat, and scroll all the way down, the second link that's there from bottom to top.
Oh, I have that link open. I just didn't know what exactly I was allowed to choose. Now.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
so you have one. So you've already started with one gift as your breed gift, which was the Blessing of Apecraft, I think.
You select
Yeah.
gifts from Ragabash and Bonower.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you get one each.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
And I'll link this here and on Twitch.
Probably.
There's a site called Ars Magica that will allow
It's
you to
already
plug
linked.
in your basic stats, and
It's already linked.
it'll-
It's already pinned.
and that'll dump out the available gifts.
I threw in like what snippet I found in the Changing Breeds book for the Succor renown of Gruul.
Oh no, yeah,
I
there
remember
is
kind
a-
of like what it's about. I just didn't remember how, how
the spread.
specifically you get it and what you the spread.
Or like the actions to get it, there's also a table for that.
Yeah. Not that I necessarily need to be privy to it because it should come from good roleplay, not
I mean, to be
min-maxing.
fair, I'm the one who needs to know what awards you want, because I'm the one
Yeah.
noting it down anyway. It's helpful for the player to kind of guide your roleplay, but honestly, I think you're good.
I think I'd like to take Memory Circle for the
Show
roleplay.
me
I
the
think that-
descriptions.
Oh, we're looking at that right now. I didn't realize we were doing that right now.
I mean, you probably won't be relevant in this session, so if we don't want to, if you need more time to think, you do have time to think. Like, we don't need to have it done exactly this moment in terms of, like, you need to decide it ASAP. Like, if you're in doubt, it's fine. If you think you need more time to choose, you will have that time. It's A-okay.
Okay, cool.
Do I have to think about the fact that certain spirits teach these gifts, or are we fine?
No.
Perfect.
No, not right now.
It'll
Not right now.
yeah.
Okay.
In prior editions through revised
Oh, yeah,
and
this one.
20th, they would arbitrarily list the spirits, which I think is nice because it adds a little bit of flavor text, but mechanics-wise, it means very little. In Werewolf the Essentials, who teaches the gifts is going to become very important, but that doesn't really matter as it pertains to this game, I don't believe.
No, but it's always good to give a snippet to our project and a reminder that you can... I think I still need to add to any descriptions on Twitch because it's not on my link tree. If you want to know more about Werewolf the Essentials, check the link that's on chat, and for people on YouTube, it's on the description. But still, I do take account of the spirits that teach gifts when you are to learn new gifts. It depends on the pacing of the story. If stopping everything to make you go after a spirit to purchase a new gift and do the whole scene with Chiminage and all of that would slow down the story in a way that would make it less fun or impactful, then we just summarize things with just jump straight to XP expenditure. But when there isn't much going on and you have the time to kill, I like having players go after those spirits and communicate with those spirits, and if there is a disposed spirit in the region, I adapt it to something that would fit. Because I think that part is cool. Can you tell I mainly play Tierge? I value spiritual interaction in my games a lot. That said, the freebie spirits, those particular spirits speak human tongue, is over. So if you don't have spirit speech, there will be very few spirits that will speak human.
That is one thing I wanted to ask in terms of Hearthbound gifts. I think that one of the two that I wish to take, although I may just buy up one using XP points, is Knitbone, which allows me to heal, and Spirit Speech. That's an option that I can take if nobody else has it.
I don't have it.
Sorry, repeat.
I believe that Alexander is playing our spirit person. Is Spirit Speech within your purview? Is that something that you're planning on having?
So here is my dilemma, is that, one, I'm not fully comprehending why we're getting extra gifts, and
That's
two,
your
I didn't
starting
know that-
gifts that would you would normally start the game with. Like
Yeah.
you,
Okay.
By merit of completing our Rite of Passage, it's assumed that during this week of downtime, we are being introduced to spirits, and the spirits are teaching us stuff, among which are these gifts.
I will have to clarify the ending scene there. the spirits already bless you at the very end of the Rite of Passage. That's the whole scene of you looking at the trunk and there were glyphs there. The spirits just engraved the gifts into the trunk and gave it to you once the rite was completed. That already happened right there.
So in that, we're getting, we rank up and we get a new gift.
Yeah, you start Werewolf the Apocalypse. You start with 3 gifts: Breed, Auspice, and Tribe. We forsook 2 of them because you are starting your Rite of Passage as Cubs, and we decided you would start with only 1, and this is what you would normally start the game with.
Which was very nice, because normally a person goes on the Rite of Passage with no gifts.
Yeah,
So
the fact that
that's
you had your
actually pretty nice.
yeah, the fact that you had your Breed gift was already a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like,
Sorry.
like this is why Thorny has no gifts in our other tabletop fan.
Right.
Technically, you can't learn gifts until you are rank 1, which is why you don't do the Rite of Passage with them. It's just me being nice, because I think it's more interesting for the story. But usually you can only learn it after.
May I explain a part of my confusion?
Yes, please.
Just because I think it is funny. Is because in the beginning you get to take a lot of different stuff. One of the things that I got was I invested a point in rituals, so I can have 1 ritual. Which is specifically the cardboard thing where you made a funny house for us. There's also a Ragabush gift, which is called Cardboard Mansion instead of Cardboard Castle.
I was so confused.
I was so fucking confused. I was like, I already have a gift?
Oh yeah,
no.
this this book does that a lot.
That might also just be edition stuff, since we are playing a 30 or 20 or 30-year-old game, you know?
Oh yeah, it might be edition discrepancy, but yeah, that also happens. You know, like I usually say, and this is one of the main goals of our project. This game is dense as fuck, and it's very easy to get confused by stuff or just outright miss stuff. And I say that as a storyteller that has to reread some of the core rules before every session, because there is always something that just escapes, because it's a lot. And sometimes they'll just drop like a mechanical thing in the middle of fluff and you miss it.
It can be frustrating, yeah.
So I guess my question is, what are we doing right now? Like where were we before, and where are we getting to mechanically with the sheets right now?
You are adding the gifts that are missing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm adding an auspice gift and what?
And
wait, because Guru, as usual.
Yeah.
You already have your scene, so a general Guru gift and a Kie, because you started as Kie instead of the usual.
Okay.
So you have
Now I'm on
Diagnose,
track.
and you have only 2 gifts between Kie. It's Diagnose and Spirit Speech. Spirit Speech is literally just talking to spirits. Diagnose
Got it.
is telling someone's overall health.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, basically you just look at someone and you understand their health, like, and
I understand what's physically wrong with them.
and it's choosing this right now. It's important because Mundas will choose based on that, because someone should probably have Spirit Speech.
Okay.
So if you
And
don't
then
take
I
Spirit
get
Speech,
one
I will.
general Guru gift.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is the Hearthbound gift I'm thinking of giving Rota for starting off. Although I don't know how many conflicts we're going to be in.
Also, memory circle's fine.
Okay.
I mean, it's
If I may
Mother's
ask-
Touch. It's Mother Touch with a different name, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's fine. Either fine. Yuri?
Just because, you know, the description of the Raven and what the Raven gives us was that it basically, you know, we don't need to have money because it provides for us. We cannot have money because it provides for us. Is that an actual mechanical thing? Do we not have to be worried about food?
Yes to both questions in a sense. That's not where I thought this question was going to go. Like, it's a mechanical effect in the sense that, like, you can have like resources, actual resources. You cannot carry money with you. Mechanically on the sheet would be mostly just resources. Worry about food, like Raven probably wouldn't be mad if you like walked into a tavern and got like a steak, or if you ate at the mood of the Sapt. He might expect you to hunt or something, and lead you to your hunt. I mean, if you ask it to try and steal a burger, you could try, but results may vary.
Okay, that is...
Mileage may vary.
To be fair, he has to have the physical form charm, so I guess he couldn't because he's not physical.
I wanted to ask if, for example, the cooking gift would be at all useful to us.
There are hunger mechanics that exist within the game. They are optional, especially considering they're from first edition.
I'm not even gonna pretend I use them. Like, no, we don't have.
And even then, they aren't really hunger mechanics. They're starvation mechanics, and the mechanic is basically you can operate at full capacity up to 22 days, but then shit starts getting grim.
Okay.
And so there isn't like a requirement that we eat, but I will say that eating is a very social activity, so it does provoke good roleplay.
I mean, like, if you want to take it as a flavor gift and be like, oh, my character likes to cook for the pet, you don't have to go with what the gift is saying of only cooking the most heinous shit, but you know, it's meant for survivalism.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're asking about, like, usefulness, like, will this save us in a pinch, it might not really come up, because you're in the middle of a forest. The worst case scenario is you're lost in the forest away from civilization. You will just hunt food. So...
So I think I would like to use some of my XP to buy an additional gift or two.
I will say, to not prolong this short section too long, leave XP expenditures for after the session.
Okay.
Can I add a note on the cooking/Raven conversation?
Absolutely.
So, Raven offers us its patronage under the assumption that we don't have to carry wealth, we just let Raven help us, which... mechanically, if you're like, oh shit, I'm hungry, or hey, we might get hungry later, you can take on the benefit of extra survival dots, so you can just like, okay, I'm just gonna go scratch for food in the forest, or like through some garbage or whatever.
Exactly.
And lo and behold,
speaking,
Raven helps.
Okay.
Exactly. Just the thing that we're looking for will probably be there where you're looking for it.
Or you will have the means to acquire it.
That
Absolutely.
said, with cooking, you can just literally throw whatever. And I mean fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah.
That is, it really sounds fun, like fucking bark or a beer can, I just throw that in a... But, you know, foul tasting and but edible mush also doesn't sound that sexy, so...
Yeah, that's for me the problem of this gift. Like, I think, especially considering Cardboard Palace, at least the gift could have a thing of like, if you spend a no, or maybe it has and I'm forgetting it, but I don't think so. Like, if you spend a gnosis that actually tastes good, then it would be really cool.
Sorry.
Speaking from like just personal opinion, I'm not a fan of cooking as a gift. One, because well, it works if there is like a mission in which you have to feed a lot of people.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, that opportunity doesn't present itself that often. So in my experience, when a person has that gift, they generally use it to just goof off, but it doesn't actually help to contribute to plots in general.
To be fair, this gift was made around the idea... There are a lot of gifts that are way too situational. Like, the cooking gift is good from a Bonar perspective because it was made around the, like, concept that they live in, like, big cities far away from the wilderness. Hunting is not an option. They're all usually in alleyways and, like, poverty areas. So that makes sense, especially for a pack trying to survive in the urban jungle, but, like, in the middle of a forest, like... if it wasn't for that descriptor of it being foul tasting, like, it would be a cool gift to have. If just for the social factor.
Absolutely. Another question, if I may.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like in this beautiful set of rules and mechanics, you ignore about a third of the mechanics we've come across so far. So I just want to ask, is feats of strength a thing that you use?
Feats of strength is like more of a descriptor of like things you do. So a feat of strength is like crashing a soda can, breaking a chair, or like trying to smash a door in.
I've read the rules, but do you use them? Is that just a thing? Is that a thing that would be useful for me to?
I mean, yes. I ignore boring rules. It's not exactly a rule. It's more of a descriptor of like. It's more of a descriptor, like how much strength do you need, how the roll is modified by what you're trying to accomplish.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it basically comes down to what you're trying to do.
I think,
but it doesn't. I think that that's more something that's important for the storyteller to have memorized, so that they can set, roles and difficulties for accomplishing certain things.
Which is probably, as soon as I say, hey, I take a gift that helps me with that, you'll probably remember that more anyway. So, yeah, I'm thinking about taking Desperate Strength. It sounds really cool.
Oh, Desperate Strength, yeah. That one can be useful. That one can be very useful.
I wanna punch through concrete.
Yes.
And get hurt real bad doing it.
That is a very Arun thing to do.
I have decided to take Healing Tongue, which is just Mother's Touch, and Spirit Speech.
Oh, so you're taking both of those? Well, shit.
Yes.
Okay. No, I'm fine with that.
Fair,
I'm fine with that.
That it would be great if you got Knit Bone, because either way you can't hear yourselves.
Yeah, and also like my vision for Alexander is to be like the healer / like aura enchanter type buff the party character, not so much the frontline combatant. So
right. And Lorota is somebody that I'm planning to use both as a background character and a tank. Somebody that's that their main role in combat is defending others.
Yeah.
And so if I'm not having to pick Knit Bone or Spirit Speech, I'd probably want one of these 3 gifts. Threads of the Tapestry, Tuning, or Undercurrent. Threads of the Tapestry. This gift allows a Garou to determine the basic elements of a situation that seem confused or deliberately obfuscated.
I mean,
the Garou can discern which individual in a group holds power or whether someone is acting under duress.
So, yeah, I've read through, all of those are fine. It's really up to you guys. What do you prefer? Like, I'm not forbidding any gifts that are from the books. So...
Oh, I'm putting this forward to my...
Oh, no, yeah, but...
Yeah, I'm putting this forward to other players for feedback or info, what they think would be good to go with. Tuning is a Hearthbound can start to comprehend the threads of the loom. We're most entranced by the loom, hear it drowning out all else. Hearthbound under the patronage of Shantar experience a shift in perception, like suddenly possessing a filter to tune into individual bands of the loom. By standing within a quiet space in the Gaian realm, a Hearthbound may hear reverberations of the loom and hear traces of the past and echoes and whispers throughout the pattern web. Basically, I can stand in an area and listen to past events that transpired within that area. Good for investigating stuff that happened in the past.
I really like that for Offa, who is kind of built around stories and stuff. That seems very fitting.
Another one is Undercurrent, which is drawing upon the deceptive placidity of slow rivers. The Hearthbound seems to fit in wherever they go. Those given no reason to suspect their presence simply overlook them. An alligator, crocodile, or caiman spirit teaches this gift.
Oh, that's sick.
So
That
if
is
I want to
pretty
be
tight.
somebody that just kind of hangs out in the background, like when I'm not in an active conflict, that's a gift that would allow me to do just that. Like I would effectively disappear in a crowd unless somebody was specifically looking for me.
Mm.
In terms of, I mean, I in terms of Rota as a character, I quite like tuning.
Yeah.
Especially because it reminds me of like grounding exercises to stop overstimulation, that kind of thing.
I kind of agree. So if nobody objects, I'll probably give. So memory circle and tuning would be the two gifts I give Rota.
Perfect. Renown has been set for everyone, so temporary, that is. So are we ready to move on?
I think so.
I think so too, yeah.
Yes.
I will hold myself back asking more questions, it's fine.
You don't. No, absolutely no. No holding back on questions. Those are important.
There's the funny thing I can learn where I can see how much I could learn, where I can find out how much rage, gnosis, and willpower an individual has. Is that useful at all?
What do you
Not
mean?
terribly.
No, I'm.
Sense limits.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not really.
Perfect. Then I'm happy with my choices. Then I think
Yeah.
a lot of them are about lying, which is not my thing.
True. Very true.
I mean,
Knowing what I do about
you were asking
Torsten's
asking about what Raven provides, but you do have a ton of subterfuge. Thankfully.
You can always lie to
imagine
cops,
one
it
of
is
you
always
trying.
morally correct.
Imagine one of you trying to lie, and Raven just appears on your shoulder, whispering on your ear, like, "Say this, tell them this."
Yeah, it's like that episode of SpongeBob where Patrick like from a walkie-talkie tells SpongeBob how to drive.
Oh God, yes.
Not to be like shitty about it. With my flaws, the 3 points we get in subterfuge are literally cancelled out by how bad of a liar Thorsten is. I have zero
it's-
subterfuge with the plus
It's
3.
true. It is true.
I usually have -3 automatic. So
well, it's a
Thorsten is the
-2 now. Look.
Is it only 1 point?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
only
yeah.
one. It's 3 for survival. It's a single one for subterfuge.
Because it's -2 if it's
Don't-
manipulation, I get to -1 in the end. We
But
collected
you
these.
can lie with charisma though.
Okay, then I will get to like 3.
It's-
That's okay.
It's hard.
Oh, if I
like,
can lie with charisma, then we're fine.
I mean, it depends on
if
how
I have
you
to lie with
execute.
manipulation, we're fucked.
Like, you have to convince me that your charisma is playing a bigger role in how you're tricking the person than the actual.
If I chose something like tag along, which seems really fun and silly, I might have tried to convince you there, but because it is charisma and subterfuge, okay.
The only
Yep.
world where
It's not hard. I'm just
Alexander
saying.
can lie to somebody is if he believes he's telling the truth to them. And so you have to convince him that the lie is true.
This is amazing.
and
honestly.
it will become true to him, and he will make it so for everyone else.
One of my favorite tropes. So you all had a. Is there anything else?
I just want to say I love tag along. That seems so funny. It is basically I can act like a sad little dog so hard that the totem of a different pack will be like, "Yeah, I'm so sorry for you. It's okay. Here's my benefits, please."
No, yeah,
Stop.
that was one thing I was referring to with lying with Garou. That absolutely is.
It is so beautiful. I love that. I'm sorry. I'm good.
No,
yes,
it
the
is
power
great.
of Poor little meow meow.
Yeah, I'm just a pure little meow meow, please. It's my birthday, please.
Yes, yes. No, there are some very good ones. There are absolutely some good ones. And I think it's useful to show people that might not be familiar with this game and are watching that choosing mechanical stuff in this and gifts is both terribly painful and absolutely entertaining and amusing, because there's some very good stuff. It's part of the process. Anyhow, a week has passed. It is... Was it September? No, it is October. It is now the 23rd of October. Fall is... still very early, actually. It's not... It's just the first month of October, of fall, but like... It's getting cold. Black Forest is cold, and it will absolutely start snowing more consistently starting next month, which is just a week away, and so is Halloween. Which is the entire year except December.
Let's go.
I cannot be convinced that it's always Halloween. Anyway, you had time to rest up, to process everything, to go about any business you might have needed to go about. This has been the case since the beginning of the session, but if anyone noticed in the layout, you all have your tribes now listed.
Ooh.
'Cause now you're all formally members of your tribes, and you are ready. Have been given a meeting point and a trail to follow, instructions to go to the Sept. It is now around 7:15 in the morning. At this point,
Probably
you've
gonna be
walked far enough to be outside of like known hiking routes and civilization, so pretty real estate when it comes to your forms. Yes.
I'm probably going to be spending some of this time with Listener of the Wild. And I would like to ask them questions about the region and the mountain that we went on, as well as information about what they know. About,
The Rite Master would not take you in for the week.
Oh,
No?
rude.
Okay.
Damn.
Like rude. What a cunt. Damn.
Rude.
Like, sadly, that is her character. It's not just
I was gonna
me,
say,
like,
like,
saying
knowing-
you can't spend that time with the, like, no, this NPC in particular, which unfortunately happens to be the Rite Master, would not take someone in for a week unless for a very good, very, very good reason.
Who
You
was the
also
other Krinosporn?
all spend this week away from the Sept before coming back in as for reintroduction.
Oh, so we spend it away from the Sept.
Oh,
Okay.
we're not even. Oh.
Oh.
You're brought back
Wait,
to
so
the
are we just-
region, and you had downtime to just go over things, have time for yourselves with your mentors, and now you're being reintroduced, like formally introduced. Like some of you have stepped into the set, but technically you weren't part of it yet.
Oh,
Okay,
I
wait.
thought
May
that
I
was
make
my
a note?
mentor that I was trying to reach out to.
I mean,
is
did
there-
you? I mean, unless you've bought it on the sheet.
Is there more than one Krinosporn at the Sept?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you
I
have a
only see
spirit
one.
mentor. You have a spirit mentor, which we should probably still discuss a bit more. You could have spent that time with your spirit mentor for sure, not the.
May I
But,
make a note?
Yes.
Quickly. During this week,
time.
Klaus would have been spending much of its time with its pack, with its kinfolk, and also is probably going to probably would have tried to take the time to introduce Torsten to the pack and their cubs.
Okay, we absolutely need to have that as a play-by-post little session later, because
Yeah.
I want
my
that.
goodness.
If Viri's also interested.
That's so
Absolutely.
precious.
Please.
Because I need, like, that is great. I love that. And that's the purpose of this week away from this. It's time for you to, like, take it all in, make amends, and understand that now everything is going to change. And to answer your question, Mundus, there was, including the first session, the one of the elders in the council. He is a Krynosborn.
I
Here.
don't see him.
Lorekeeper, Rune Song of Remembrance. He is a Galliard of the Children of Gaia, and he is Krynosborn.
He
That
is
would be the
got
one
elders.
I'm trying to think of. And he doesn't appear under the Elders folder for me.
He appears in the elders folder for me.
Yeah, he's the last
not in
one.
There's a Sept Council and then elders folder, and he's the last one in the elders folder.
Don't see him.
Oh, I also don't see him in
I can
my
see him.
thing.
Weird.
Permission might have
Atropos?
bugged. Permission just might have bugged. Foundry sometimes just fucks up. I'll just reset the permission. And it should probably appear.
Hey!
It is now.
Sometimes it just bugs.
Still not showing up.
Yeah,
for
I
me.
didn't have the permission for the elders. You have to open
Oh,
the
there it
elders
is. Okay, now
folder.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah,
I also
Foundry
wasn't
gets
seeing it for the same
wonky
reason.
sometimes.
Okay.
That's good.
Probably the folder setting bugged out and
I think that's what happened.
in that screenshot you sent, Mondes, you just didn't open the folder.
I tried to, but it wouldn't let me. I can see them now.
Huh. Weird.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. For the things happening for me during the week.
I will say that Jakob is close enough to everyone here that y'all can call him Peppy by this point, if you are so inclined. And other than that, he has been busy fixing up his very, very broken truck. Because,
Honestly, yeah.
like, you don't serve as the metaphorical cocoon of an Arun's first change without taking some damage.
That is fun.
Absolutely fair.
I don't even know what Torsten would have done. That's the big problem. Probably hang out with his mentor a whole lot and tell him about all the stuff. I think Torsten will arrive somewhere where he's not constantly surrounded by the others anymore and feels so incredibly lonely that he will try to just hang out with the others as much as he can.
Yeah, definitely.
Cute.
Just be
He
like,
still
oh, I
needs
know
to-
about...
Yeah.
I mean,
Sorry, please.
Peppy... Oh, sorry.
Please move
He
on.
still needs to teach class how to paint.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, stuff like that. Probably go over to Peppy and be like, I kind of like learned half a year of mechanic. I know some shit about cars. Can you help?
Please,
Well,
let me
shit.
just hold something.
Well, shit, buddy, I only got 2 hands, so you better get your ass over here.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to say that Peppy would have let y'all hang out at his place. I don't know how much space he has because he's not a very, mechanically speaking, resourceful individual.
Well, literally none of you are, and even less now. Interesting. How come you have a place in the town? What is your place?
I want to say he rents out a small flat, which he earns by working as a trucker. And his little trip may have put him behind on rent, but whoops.
I mean, that's fine. That's feasible up until that point. The problem is you can't use those savings anymore either way. So
Oh, well.
I will say you do have an apartment that you were renting. Don't worry about that for today. Everything is fine. That's not gonna come up.
I would
Well-
absolutely, sorry.
I'll just say we'll burn that bridge when we cross it.
Yeah.
I would absolutely invite Peppy to just hang out at the place that I'm staying at.
I mean, everyone can. That place was made for Garou to hang out, to be honest.
Yeah, I sleep at a bar.
I was going to
Nice.
name that, and I was so distracted and busy with a lot of other stuff that I forgot to name that bar. I think I had a name and I just forgot to note it down, so I will figure it out later.
For sure.
Because I'm tempted to name those things the same thing over and over because I have a favorite name. For the werewolf bar. Like, in another game I call it, like, the Drunken Seal.
Oh, that's
Beautiful.
fun.
Because it's, for a setting in Canada, that's a port town, and there are a lot of wild seals.
Nice.
So they're a theme with the town. Anyway, making your way... Yeah?
Oh, I just had one thing that I wanted to do really fast. I think that in taking advantage of this like new family that Alexander's been put into, probably after conferring with Grandmother Helena, he's trying to spend a lot of time with Rotha and learning some of the stories that she knows, because he really enjoyed listening to her speak on those stories in the cave, and it's kind of fun having almost like an older sibling teach him about the world.
You have activated her autistic special interest. Rota mentally and socially activates and
Neurons activating.
proceeds to just utterly info dump everything about Grimm's fairy tales on Alexander.
You have
Hell yeah.
acquired knowledge of German folklore. Side effect, terrible trauma.
And the world is fucked up.
They do that to
and see-
children?
And see, that's why you need to eat your vegetables, otherwise a fairy's gonna come over and explode your dick.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh God, Alexander,
Oh,
having no
no.
knowledge that this is not actually true.
Yeah.
Are we sure Rotha knows that this is not true?
No. In fact, we're positive that she doesn't.
Rota grew up away from human society, so basically all that she knows of the world is within her fairy tale books. So she believes this, and she's speaking with earnest. You must eat your vegetables.
In a few ways, the next couple of sessions when shit starts happening around town, it will be kind of validating for Rotha, to be honest.
Oh no.
Because it's like
We are gonna
fairy
see
tales
some
coming to
bullshit.
life, but like even worse, Rotha is just going to turn to everyone and be like, "Ha!
I told you!
I fucking
I
told you
told
so.
You fools!
Eat your fucking vegetables.
Who's eating?
Listen to me.
Who's reading fiction now?"
I got so scared because I was like, is someone's gonna come to town and explode all our dicks? No, please.
No, not that one. No, I'm not adapting that one to this campaign. Don't worry. It's
Anyway,
fine.
we're being introduced.
You follow the trail that you've been told would take you to the said spawn of the sept, of the cairn, the outer area, which, technically speaking, would be the entirety of Black Forest, although it's obviously more defined than that. But like, in the minds of the Get, that's the entirety of Black Forest, that's their bond. But there is a specific region where the Sept is located at the very heart of Black Forest, quite a few ways away from town. Way beyond any traveled roads, cars and machinery do not reach this place, and you are now past the point where even the hiking trails for tourists are marked. You would know for a fact, especially the tree non-Homid, because the pack that would have found you and introduced you to the Sept would likely be the Trailblazers. And I think their name is self-explanatory. Their function as a pack, I hate motorcycles, it makes noise on the street, not on Discord, but like, I know it's catchy on stream. Their purpose as a pack is to basically act as park rangers, but that actually know all the guy and shit. And they are also responsible for making sure that the humans will only follow the trails the Garou want them to follow, aside other typical park ranger stuff, and also dealing with the spirits of the forest.
Question.
Yes.
Is this the people that found Alexander when he first changed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
They would have probably also found Klaus and Rotha. They're usually the scouts for deep within the woods.
So friends.
They are very polite. They are very nice, actually.
Yeah.
I can't believe you posted that video.
It's a great video.
Amazing.
So, are we just walking with these
Yes. No. They haven't come to get you now. I'm saying, like, when you were first introduced. After your first change, I mean. They would have found you as lost cubs and brought you to the Sept, I mean. Like, that would fall within their responsibility. So, you know one pack from the Sept. At least in name. You might not remember them very well. You definitely don't remember their names. But you remember they were very nice. There were four of them. But you follow the trail. You reach this area of the forest that's a lot denser, a lot darker, which is saying something for a Black Forest. And suddenly there's a path again. Small dirt trail. And as you approach it, there's just this absolute mountain of a man standing at the entrance, at the very entrance. Where? Oh, I can't do that because just with... Okay, that's fine. So just copy the name and paste it. But it is already in the Sept folder. You see a man in Krynos form. His fur is reddish, ginger. A very, very deep and lively color. The mane around his neck and head is thick, luscious, long, and braided. Not completely, but he has a few thick braids. His eyes are bright green. He's covered in scars from head to toe, holding a war axe, battle axe, that's about as big as he is. Like, the head of the axe is to the ground and he's with both hands like resting on the pommel part of the battle axe. He has a stern expression, serious, not aggressive. His disposition is more more like that of a guardian than like an enemy preparing for battle. It's definitely intimidating. Like, he size up rivals even that of Torsten and Jakob, who are huge on their own right.
Is this person, like, obviously a Fianna?
Yeah. Sky Singer through and through. Like, doesn't get more ginger.
So I'm gonna actually try to blend in with the rest of my pack mates and be not noticeable.
So whoever's taking the lead as you approach and stand before him, he grunts,
Me.
nods, acknowledges all of you. The newcomers, welcome. Your arrival was highly anticipated. I would first like to start by congratulating you. I'm not gonna make the accent, but his accent is heavy. He's speaking a very heavy accent German. Don't know if anyone would recognize what his accent is. To be fair, I myself don't know what a Scottish person speaking German sounds like, but it's that. That is not native German, absolutely.
Trying to imagine that. Fun.
Yeah, it's very specific. Don't know. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you on your Rite of Passage. Heard many great things from the elders. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Murdoch O'Daly, the Solemn Axe, and I am the Sept's Warden. You are now standing at the bottom of the Sept of Bloodfist, the greatest cairn of the Get of Fenris. I will lead you inside now, so be mindful. First, I'd like to explain, as the Warden, that means I'm... what terms would you youngins understand? Chief of Security. We could put into those terms. I'm responsible for protecting the Sept, for making sure it stands no matter what comes against it. Keep it free from intruders. And a lot of the times I'm the one around to punish miscreants. So don't go around messing the Sept. But I trust we won't have problems. Now follow me. Welcome, young Cleaffs.
Sorry, quick question. When did Mundus raise the paw?
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay. My time notifications are being fucky. But good to know. I'm just gonna have Peppy nod his head and say, thanks for the warm welcome, and looked at the rest of his pack.
I wish I could receive you with greater fanfare, but it's... his sighs. It's a deep sigh of like someone who's exhausted. It's a busy day. Apologies if I'm not in my best demeanor today.
Is it like obvious to anyone, like would it be obvious to her packmates that Rota is, like trying to sort of blend in and not stand out?
Depends if Rotha is trying to hide the fact or not.
I'd say that she would be in her lupus form and would be pretty adamantly quiet and sticking to like the middle of her pack.
Okay. Klaus is out of anyone, Klaus is especially like keeping an eye on the reactions and emotions of Rota, and is like wants to try and figure out how, like, why she is, what's the connection between this person and, like, is it out of fear, is it out of respect, that kind of thing.
out of earshot, Ota would say, his tribe hunts my kind.
You will have to roll if you want to whisper that, because, like, he's also in wolf form, and you're not too far away.
If there is a risk, she will not say it.
Like, there is a very likely chance that he will hear it.
Yeah, so in that case, she's gonna stay tight-lipped for now.
Okay, I don't trust this guy.
Wait, wasn't he in a form where he was keeping his axe on?
Isn't
like,
he
on the
like
ground?
Kranos form right now?
He's in Krynos, yes.
Yes, the
Um,
good
I
wolf
think of
hears
that. I think the
still
heightened
can.
hearing probably is still prevalent enough
Um,
that it would be a concern.
Heightened
Well-
senses
are also very quiet.
heightened senses specifically works in forms other than lupus.
Yeah.
Regardless of that, if Rota is not just from Rota's body language, or just like the uncharacteristic silence, Klaus does not trust this guy. Not gonna like be outwardly like defensive or that kind of thing. Just very much not vibing.
Considering what I have planned out, this is going to be interesting. He guides you towards the sept proper. You reach this massive clearing. Huge, circular. You're deeper in the woods than you've ever been. At the very center of this massive clearing, there is a huge fireplace. It's not lit right now, but it's the place for the fire is there. Right before a huge standing stone. Massive slabs of stone stacked on top of each other, covered in glyphs and etchings. It's still too far away to discern anything. In the distance, you can see there are 5 buildings that call to your attention. There is one massive hall. All of those wooden cabins and buildings are very what people usually think like Norse mead halls and all of that in architecture looks like. It's the major one, the biggest building, massive hall. Imagine feasts and meetings and grand events might happen there or around the campfire. There are 3 smaller buildings that look more like just cottages, small cabins for people to sleep in. They look slightly run down, but overall the sept is beautiful. It's landscaping very well kept. There are flowers everywhere. And the 5th building is, you see smoke billowing from a chimney. Looks like a small workshop of sorts. Need to take a closer look. There are very few people walking around. Some are in Krynos form, some are in Lupus form. And as you walk, and the warder points to all of those things. Quick rundown of things. He stops and turns to the pack. Once again, apologies for not being able to provide a better tour. It's been a busy week. Well, no. It's been a busy... too many weeks to count. Months. Everyone's running around doing everything they can today. Short-staffed and all of that. The elders are busy discussing something that I'm not too informed about. Some of the packs are out in their own missions. There should be a few people around to help you out with any of your needs should they arise. The keeper of the land, I'm pretty sure, is also out, but I'm sure her keepers are here to aid you. He looks around, one side to the other. He stops. You see his ears focus on a direction. And in the distance you see 5 other Garou. One of them in Krynos, one of them in Lupus, the other in Hummet. He raises his hand as to call their attention. Hugin! Can you and your pack come over here? And you see the big black-furred Krynos. I said 5 people, it's 4 people. I'm sorry. And you see the big black-furred Krynos turn towards your direction and whisper back to his pack, and the 4 of them approach. And once they're in close proximity, you get a better look at those people. The Homids, starting with them, have a young man close to your ages, probably around his, maybe even younger than, or I don't remember what ages you've defined for your characters. I know we need to, because we're on time, so I need to close the scene. Sorry, but you were going to say?
No, I just was gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just going to close this so we can, because I know Van has to head out. So I'm just rushing through this. I'll give the descriptions for them again, but quickly, young man, around 19 years old, very blonde hair, almost to the point of being white, spiky. Both him and the girl right next to him have a very punky style. He has a leather jacket, she has a denim jacket, full of patches, stacked full of patches. She has short brown hair. The lupus is basically the artwork for the Children of Gaia in the core book. Like, he's that wolf. He also has a little, like, vest, wooden, wool vest.
Sorry, he's a lupus with a vest on?
Yes, he has a little doggy.
Like a nervous
doggy
vest?
Oh,
No, like doggy
my
clothing.
God.
Like, he has a little vest. It seems his clothing, the dedication shapeshifted him with him. He has a little vest.
Oh, that's adorable.
You look into his eyes and you
Freaking
look
precious.
into his eyes and you understand that there is purity in this world. Needless
Yes.
to say, he is children of,
Little
like,
nerd.
yes, he is a child of Gaia. How did you know? And the Krynos born, far as black as the night. He's slender, he's tall. Well, I would say muscular, but like that goes without saying for Garou in general. What calls your attention are his 2 eyes that are profound, a deep blue that's almost like staring into a storm. And the other 3 are even more interesting, because on the left side of his face he has 3 extra eyes with a black sclera and bright green irises. Almost in a sort of like wicked magical thing sort of way. It's a supernatural glow to those 3 eyes, and all 5 of those eyes focus on the massive Sky Singer that is the Warden. You called us Warden Murdoch? Yes, sorry for calling on such short notice, but these are the newcomers everyone's been talking about. I would like to request you to help them out and help them settle. Be their guides for today. You know I'm multitasking a lot today, and if you could please do me that favor, I would be eternally grateful. The Krynosborn nods, looks over at you, looks back in. Yeah, it's fine. If we're always helping the Keeper of the Land, anyhow, we can do that. Run off now. Gaia knows you've got way too much on your list. We'll handle this. He smirks, he nods, gives him a tap on the shoulder, and leaves. And as the pack turns towards you, we're gonna end the session here, because I need to free Van for his thing.
Thank you.
I'll give a better introduction to these people in this interaction next time, it's fine.
Before I go, I do need to ask, the Krynosborn with the extra eyes, is that one the Hugin that he was
Yes.
speaking to? I love that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for noticing what I did.
I know what you did there.
Yeah, bye-bye.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
And
Goodbye.
to the people watching us, thank you so much for following us live, for watching us live, following the story so far, and very excited to see what will develop over the next chapter of this story. Now that the pact is finally in the Sept, and we'll get to know some other Garou and some other packs. Thank you all so much to my players for your participation and your incredible characters. Today was a very fun session. We had some very good roleplay moments.
Hooray.
And I'm dying of excitement to introduce you to these 4 people. You do not understand. I've been waiting for this scene.
I think I do understand, actually.
Like, this introduction scene with the warden calling them to aid you, like, was one of the first things I decided upon. Like, this was not a moment decision. This has been planned. But yeah, I would like to thank everyone. For those watching on YouTube, you can check all of our socials in the description. And the link to follow us live on Twitch to catch the session next Wednesday. We're usually live Wednesday, 8 PM UTC, if nothing goes wrong, and there are no delays.
If nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, you know, the Weaver has been trying to sabotage us, but she's losing, as usual. I say, pretending the planet isn't engulfed in fucking destruction. But yeah.
Yet we persevere.
Yeah, we
See y'all
persevere.
next week, Twitch.
See y'all next
Hooray.
week. Goodbye. Have a nice rest of your week. Take care.
Toodles!